We're having good discussion here. Okay, perfect. The idea of teens not liking school is not new, but it turns out the disengagement crisis is worse than we might think, and it's not all about phones and COVID. In the new book, The Disengaged Teen, award-winning journalist Jenny Anderson and Brookings Director for Universal Education Rebecca Winthrop explain why many teens hate school, and more importantly, what parents can do about it, which is what Rebecca and I were talking about in the commercial break, because it can be so frustrating as a parent when you're watching the child struggle. And you say this starts at the disengagement almost all the way in third grade. It's not necessarily just teenagers.
We have seen this in the data. We did a massive survey of 65,000 students with our colleagues at Transcend, and what we saw is starting at third grade, kids their love of school just slides downhill. So 75% of kids in third grade say they love school. By the time they get to 10th grade, it's 25%.
Oh my goodness, those numbers are staggering. Now, a lot of people I know blame smartphones, they blame COVID, but if you're talking even that young, a lot of kids don't even have smartphones. So what's happening here?
So teens have been disengaged before smartphones were invented and COVID hit. And what you have is a push-pull factor. So the push factor is that the world has changed, and it's fast, it's integrated, and school is very much of an assembly line model. You have a bell, specific skills, in each class, and you cannot get the skills you need just coasting along in school to get a good job and go into higher education. Several decades ago, it was literacy and numeracy. You could kind of coast along and you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Now it's collaborative problem solving, interpersonal communication, creative thinking. You can't coast along and be fine. So that's the push factor. And then the pull factor is, as kids see it's not relevant, it's boring, a lot of kids say they get pulled into something more interesting. TikTok, video games, cell phones.
YouTube. Oh my gosh, if I could get them off YouTube. You developed 4 modes of engagement: passenger, resistor, achiever, and explorer. Can you define some of these relatively briefly, and then talk about what parents should be looking at in terms of helping their child in each of these categories?
Yes, we developed these because we learned that it's really hard to see how motivated, engaged kids are. We were just talking about this.
Yes,
kids can be tricky. They can mask it. So passenger mode, these are the kids are coasting. They show up to school. They might like to go to school because they see their friends, but they're doing the bare minimum. Achiever mode, these are the kids who are trying to get a gold star on everything put in front of them.
And see, that was me. So when you've got a parent
it's frustrating.
Yes.
But those kids, everybody loves an achiever, except there's a downside. They have pretty bad mental health outcomes, and they're fragile learners. They're not used to failing and being resilient and picking themselves back up.
That sounds familiar.
Resistor mode. This is what everybody thinks about. These are kids avoiding and disrupting. But really where you want kids to spend a lot of time is explore mode.
Okay.
This is where they love learning. Curiosity meets drive. They can become unstoppable.
Do parents understand how bad this crisis, I mean, you're calling it a crisis, how bad it really is?
They do not. So we surveyed parents, and there's a huge gap. Parents are saying in 10th grade, 60% of parents of 10th graders say, my kids love school, when really 25% of them say they love school. So that's part of the reason we created these modes, because there's a lot parents can do.
I think parents get frustrated, but it's small moments, isn't it, of connection with your child? It doesn't have to be some big blow up or some, big conversation. It could be just little moments over time.
Absolutely. If you've got a kid in passenger mode, coasting along, I have one, you might have one, we talked about it. It's not expensive. It's not a huge amount of time. One of the main things you can do is model the thrill of learning.
Okay.
What they need is the juice of loving something that's interesting. The best thing you can do is ask them about the content of their learning, not the grades they get. You have to monitor how they're doing in school, but so much of the time we just focus on that. Go 50-50, or I would say 70-30. Tell me about what you're learning. Oh, that's interesting. Teach me. Kids love to be taught. They love to teach their parents stuff.
They should be showing their parents, too, their work.
Yeah, and then the parents should be curious.
Right,
and curious back and make the connections of why that's important in the real world, because that's a piece that the kids are often missing.
Oh, that's really good. I've learned so much. I really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
I have 1,000 more questions to ask you, but we've run out of time. So thank you so much. 4 modes of engagement are, of course, passenger, coasting along, resistor, labeled the problem child, and you had then the achiever and the explorer, and these are all laid out in the book we just talked about. So thank you so much for being here. And if you want more information on what we've just been talking about, you can go to kcalnews.com and click on the Disengaged Teen. Check it out.